What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hello, and welcome back to our coverage of Season 1 of WCS America. Of course, exciting times here. Of course, WCS Korea, WCS Europe have been going on, and now we're getting into WCS America. Day 1 already happened. That was yesterday. If you missed the VOD, youtube.com/official MLGSE2. This is Day 2. We're covering Group E, a group involving Minigun, Nestea, Apocalypse, and of course Phoenix. And to recap, Nestea taking the 2-0 over Minigun, and of course Apocalypse taking the 2-0 over Phoenix. Mr. Nick, are you surprised?
You know, I'm not super surprised. I thought, like, Minigun versus Nestea game 2, I think Minigun had a lot of opportunities to win that. But it really came down to Nestea's just macros is freaking insane.
Yeah, Nestea is pretty good at StarCraft 2. You know, a lot of people were kind of suggesting Minigun might be able to win that, and Nestea just showing just how dominant he is. You know, going up to 150 drones, going up to 9,000 mutas, and he did it flawlessly. It was just such good play, and I love the going for corruptors. He was about to go for mutas, but then he saw the Stargates from Minigun, and he's like, all right, I'll just make some corruptors just to counter that, and I'll go into massive drones.
Yes, and it worked out well. Now we're going to jump into Nestea versus Apocalypse. It's going to be game number 2 on Whirlwind.
Yes, indeed. Of course, this is the winner's match. This is a best of 3 to determine who's going to be the first player from this group to advance to the round of 16. In the bottom left-hand location, we have the Red Terran player from Team Quantic Gaming. He was on IM a very long time ago. He is Apocalypse. And his opponent in the bottom right-hand location, the Blue Zerg player who took down Minigun 2-0. Representing Team Incredible Miracle, a favorite to come out of this group in first. He is Nestea. All right, so we got a TVZ here on Whirlwind, and we saw lots of TVZs yesterday, so I feel like we're pretty much masters.
Yes.
Grandmasters, dare I say, at this matchup. And hopefully anyone who tuned in yesterday knows exactly what's going to happen. Of course, we're seeing some... we're seeing a gas first. Is that a gas first? Oh, it is.
It is. A very interesting build here.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. So, Fast Factory, I think, is going to be the obvious...
Yeah, it's going to be really fast Hellions. And that's kind of cool in Whirlwind, because if you look at Whirlwind, it's not an easy map to defend both the drones in your natural as well as your ramp. So if you have Hellions really fast and your opponent doesn't have the necessary tools to deal with them, there's a lot of different directions basically where you can take a lot of damage.
You know, Apocalypse, we saw him use some medevacs. I feel like this is one of those maps where drops are pretty important. You know, if Nestea decides to take that third that's above his main base in that area, look for Apocalypse to definitely exploit that a little bit later. But we'll have to see what direction he goes with this early factory play. Are we going to see an early second gas? Is he just going to use it to get early map control with the Hellions while taking a natural expansion? All questions that are in my mind. And Nestea, of course, has yet to scout this out, so he's going to be ever watchful for the same type of data so he can start knowing what to go for. Right here, though, playing very safe, going for that early gas even before pool. Or as the pool is going, so he can get an early speed. So he wants to play as safe as possible right here.
Early speed is going to be great against the Hellion Rush. All he has to do is hold out until speed finishes. And then speedings actually do pretty well against Hellions in small numbers. Of course, off of one base, it's going to be hard for Apocalypse to really get that massive Hellion count where he can start overwhelming the speedings. And so speedings are a great defense, at least in the initial parts of the game.
All right, so factory finishing up, going to be placed onto that reactor. And Nestea...
He's not taking guys off gas.
He's not, is he? There's speed, but...
This could be a very fast lair build.
Ooh.
Or it could be some Baning Bust.
Could be.
I mean, you wouldn't do a Roach push if you got speed. So, it's going to be a Baning Bust or a very fast lair. I'll have to see which one it is. Of course, the question is, you know, what can the...
There's a Roach Horn.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Could be...
he is... It's weird to get speed and then get a Roach Horn this early. It's going to be some like Roach speeding all then. It's a very unusual build, that's to say. Normally, if you want to be aggressive with roaches, you just get a lot of roaches, right? And then there's later timings where it's roaches and banings, or roaches and speedings. But this early roaches and speedings, he's really looking to catch Apocalypse off guard. But Apocalypse, he's building a starport. If he can get a couple Banshees out, that's going to be a great way to help defend his attack.
Oh, that's a great point. Of course, he needs to identify exactly what's going on. The Roach one is done. There we see the Roaches in production, 5 in total at this point in time. He still has 12 supply there hit that he can still use up, so perhaps waiting on some larva inject to finish up. Making some lings as well, and I don't know if Apocalypse knows anything about this yet.
He definitely doesn't know it yet, but when the Hellions get in natural, they see this few drones. It's going to be a big tip-off. Actually, he sees
all
the
roaches, and now he's going back. Let's see how he reacts. The Tech Lab, I think, is finishing up on that starport, so... oh, no, it's on the barracks. He can lift up the starport.
He's building Marauder. That's okay, fine, too.
That's fine.
And starport can build its own Tech Lab.
Two more Widowmines. No bunker, though.
Yeah, I'm interested that there's no bunker and there's no tech lab on the starboard. Those are two things that's kind of unique. Just getting a medevac. You know what? I mean, the medevac can heal up SCVs and the Marauder, so it's not a terrible decision. Of course, sacrificing low ground natural, that's essential. This Marine, of course, he doesn't want to risk lowering the depot to get that guy back in. You know, there's a Hellion counterattack.
Oh, you don't want to get surrounded, but getting all these slings would be beautiful here for Apocalypse. That's exactly what he's going to do. Look at this micro.
Cutting
beautiful
off
there.
The reinforcements is so huge.
Oh,
because,
absolutely. So the Roaches, yeah, they're going to be alone.
Ooh. 2 Roaches for 2 Widowmines. They've already paid themselves off, and they'll be more useful in just a bit. This attack's over. Without the stealing reinforcements, with the Marauder in a bunker, Nestea's attack is done. And, I mean, he's got a decent work. How many SCVs did he get? How does Apocalypse only have 22 SCVs? That doesn't actually make sense at the 730 mark. Let's see here. He only got 2 workers. I think Apocalypse just didn't build workers.
Is there anything in that? Oh, the Hellions. See, this is
why he's still not building workers. Apocalypse must have this plan in his build where he doesn't build workers, and he tries to get a lot of aggression done.
This is why I love why he went for that medevac. Because you can immediately have the ability to ferry some units to your opponent's natural expansion. Unfortunately for Apocalypse at this point, Nestea's ready for that. He has the Spore Crawl in his natural expansion. He has plenty of lings there ready and waiting, so that counter drop is not going to work. But more importantly, saving that orbital command, now going back into SCV production, but we see a relatively fast Spire here from Nestea.
A very interesting follow-up. You know, ordinarily an attack that early, if you don't really do a lot of damage, you're going to be behind. But Apocalypse was cutting so much of his own economy to pull off the Hellion drop that it actually, I don't know who's winning. I mean, there's this no 3rd orbital, and there's Mutalisk coming up, which are going to be annoying on the harass. Apocalypse doesn't have the army to really scare Nestea, so Nestea can just pretty much make pure Mutalisk and then use his minerals to get that 3rd base going.
Is Apocalypse making any progress back into the workers? Can you hit income?
Yeah, he's been making a few, but he's
still down.
Wow. 31 workers at the 920
and it's not like
mark.
It's not like he has a 3rd orbital.
Well, I mean, he's building them kind of haphazardly. Like right now, there's none in production. Just now, building 2. So he's kind of off and on adding workers in. I think it's like he's not prioritizing it. He's prioritizing maybe saving minerals for a potential 3rd orbital, or it's not exactly clear. Widowmine's trying to delay the 3rd base, but of course, Overseer, can he save it? Oh,
got it.
Nice pickup.
Not going into the main. I'm not sure if he's spotted the Spire yet. In fact, I don't think he has, because he hasn't started any turret production in his main or natural expansion. Of course, he has an engineering bay on the ground because he's got that +1 upgrades going. He's got 4 Marines making at a time, but I wonder how much damage can these mutas do? There's 9.
And you know what? With the low worker count of Apocalypse, these mutas, it's like every worker they kill is extra important if there's not very many, because it's a relatively larger chunk of the economy. Oh, another Widowminer. That's not going to work.
Overseer's there, and those guys are going to get sniped before any shots go off. Great move there from Nestea, preventing those Widowminers from doing any damage. The mutas are now complete, and they're heading straight for the main of Apocalypse. He still has no idea.
There's nothing here to defend. The Mutalists are on route, even getting +1 flyer attack. And look at this, behind us, because Apocalypse has a weak army, he's just building pure drones. He's not worried about any counterattacks.
Oh, the turret being made, but a little bit too late. The SCV, who's bravely trying to construct that, is going to get sniped away. Goodbye, turret. And SCV is very vulnerable. Marine's going to be returning back here, and Nestea choosing not to engage. Just trying to get as much SCV kills as possible before retreating. And behind this, again, making nothing but drones. So really prioritizing that economy. Has that 3rd base on the ground, and now going into the 1-1 upgrades for those Zerglings.
Even just keeping Apocalypse back at home is so helpful. There's still no 3rd orbital from he just doesn't have the economy to really produce the units anymore. So many SCVs have gone down.
Yeah.
The working skill is up to 13.
And this is a situation where, you know, he had some trouble with the workers earlier on in this game. So he's, oh my, 71-32.
This is, I mean, he has to make this attack work, but
yeah.
He just doesn't. I can
is it
see
possible?
Banelings.
Is there a Baneling nest?
There is a Baneling nest.
Okay.
I mean,
it's about to finish.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you're right. I assumed you made one earlier.
I saw the 1-1, but I didn't see a Baneling nest in production the whole game, so I wasn't sure.
He does have roaches, which should be effective, but this attack could actually do a little bit more damage than we might have otherwise thought. This could be Apocalypse's way to get back in the game.
He's got Widow Mines in here as well. We know how cost-efficient those can be. Roach is coming forward here from Nestea. Apocalypse needs to get a ridiculous amount of damage done here, considering how low his economy is back home. Nothing but mutas and lings in that production tab. The Baneling nest is done, but I don't see any Banelings in production, so we got to keep an eye on that. Drones trying to flee for their lives, looking like they're going to try to engage, but running into Marine fire. And Apocalypse doing a great job with this push.
He is. This is going to be eventually cleaned up. I mean, there's no more stem. The mutas are just going to come through here and clean the rest up. Great job picking off the rally first from Nestea, knowing he couldn't take on the army directly. But a lot of damage was done. A lot of drones were killed.
Oh, getting a shot on those mutas. 17 workers killed.
I mean, that means Nestea's only up by like 50 workers now, right? Of course, he's 23.
Yeah. Making more drones in production.
Oh.
Still, what am I being?
Yeah, Overseer's going to clean that up without too much of a problem there.
Now, he didn't peel away any units to shell away at the third, as far as I saw.
No.
So that's still mining happily and freely. Those drones are oblivious of what's happening in their homeworld.
There's no third orbital anywhere.
Whoa,
no
really?
third command center. This is the build we saw STC use, in fact, against Snoot on this same map. Just a 2-base insane aggression with Hellbats and Bio. And, I mean, STC actually eventually won that when it got into a base trade. But as it is right here, I mean, I don't think he can perform in the same way STC did, because he's not even on a full 2-base economy. 50 minutes in a game, he's still trying to build SCVs to get to that 2-base economy. And this is the point when Nestea is got a full 3-base economy, starting the 4th base, getting flyer attacks level 2. The mutalists are being so effective, and we saw that against Minigun. We're seeing it here as well against Apocalypse.
He's taking out some free Marauders there, of course. You know, if there's anything Apocalypse can do, he's got to get some of those money Widow Mine shots, right? If he can make sure... If you can keep Nestea unaware of that and hope that happens, I feel like that could be a great way. But, you know, it's one of those one does not simply things, something you kind of have to hope for. But at the same time, we're seeing Apocalypse go straight across the map.
He is. He's got to get attacked on. 2 Widow Mines get burrowed up before they die. Not quite enough Banelings to take those out. The Mutalists are retreating. They did a great job of picking off some damage, cutting off the rally. Here comes the Banelings.
The Banelings. There are some Widow Mines that have not yet discharged. Wow, actually pretty cost efficient there from Apocalypse, but I don't even think it matters. More Banelings coming forward. Muta deciding, okay, you know what, I'm just going to engage. There's enough Mutas. There's not enough Marines in Apocalypse. His push is getting completely cleaned up. No damage done to the economy there either. So it's not like Apocalypse, you know, was able to give himself any advantage there.
He really wasn't. And trading blow for blow is not where you want to be when your opponent's taking a 4th fast and you're taking your 3rd. I mean, the 3rd's about to be started right now. Just right now, starting at 3rd base. And this is not where Apocalypse wants to be. The SCC made this work against Snoop because his medevacs had no answer. He was able to fly around, do a lot of harass, always pick up units before Banings hit him. But in this case, Nestea has the Mutalists. He doesn't just have Speedings and Banings. And his Mutalists have really not only done a great job on harass, killing workers, but they've also been killing the medevacs every single battle. And those are expensive units to replace.
I also, obviously, the Overseer is something you have to have in a unit composition because there's always going to be a threat of those Widow Mines. We see a drop happening here from Apocalypse. 2 Hellbats inside, and that's a great way to try to jump back into a game, sending those straight for middle line. However, no drones at that 4th base. He might drop those 2 Hellbats anyway. No, I would jet straight to the 3rd and see what kind of damage you can get done there, but it looks like Apocalypse is just going to back away.
Yeah, that's a smart call. He knows Nestea's seen that. He knows Nestea's not attacking him, so the entire Zerg swarm is hunting down that medevac. It's definitely an outlaw, an exile trying to hide in the corner. It cannot escape.
Run. At this point, do you just drop the Hellbats and say goodbye?
You drop them off here. You just drop them off into the abyss.
Or you get killed by the Mutas. Do you make that decision?
Units.
Oh my gosh.
That's
a Rambo medevac right there.
It is.
Right? Did I do that right? Was that right?
He hasn't really killed anyone. It's more like a Serenity medevac. It's being able to evade pursuit for such a long time. So here we go. The Marines coming in here, clean up some creep. Well, keep an eye on the medevac's still hiding out. It's like we're just gonna spend the rest of the game hiding in the corner.
Oh, it's a Frodo Baggins medevac.
There you go. He's sneaking around. That's a good one.
All right.
So the third base is now up, making it a planetary. Apocalypse knows if he loses this third, he loses the game.
You know,
So
what
it's
Apocalypse
so
has been doing
important.
great on, look, his +3 weapons is about to finish.
Yes.
And +3 weapons hasn't even started here for Nestea. So, you know, upgrades are pretty solid here from Apocalypse, but again, Economy's trying to get that back up and running. Hellbat's being dropped at the third base, or at the fourth base. There's some units trying to deal with that, and will eventually do so.
Nestea is now going into Hive. He's realizing that, okay, I don't know if I can power down my opponent's third base. If he gets the third base up, I might have to pull out the big guns, which might just be Fire Attack level 3, knowing Nestea.
Sure.
Of course, he already has 2
mutas.
attack on those mutas. He's looking for an angle to get an engagement. He wants to engage. He's nearing max. Apocalypse. Oh!
Trying to bait those Widow Mines. He's going to go for it. I don't see many Widow Mines in that area. The Marines need a split. So many Marines going to be dropped up. But Apocalypse doing a really good job splitting up those units, but that natural expansion is going to be very vulnerable.
It is. I mean, SCVs are going down there. At least that's not the most important base.
Oh my god, that control
Great
from
micro.
Apocalypse is phenomenal.
And you know, the structures of the buildings, the Zerg units can't get around here.
Wow. That's exactly what Apocalypse needed. That pretty much went picture perfect for him. I'm not sure how many SCVs died there, though.
Not that many.
Not
Yeah,
many.
I think he got about 8 SCVs. He's at 13 before.
I mean, again, he has the +3 weapons on those Marines.
Here's the bad news for Apocalypse. He traded really well, but Nestea's been on 4 bases for so long, Nestea's already maxed again.
Yeah.
So Apocalypse trying to counterattack, he might just run into...
that?
Yeah.
Okay, Widowmine's trying to get burrowed down. The Overseer is there to spot those. We need more perfect control here from Apocalypse. Got to split perfectly. Oh, not so good. The Banelin's getting some very good connections there onto those Marines. Apocalypse scrambling to stay alive. And...
oh, that's it. I mean, it's pretty much cleaned up, and meanwhile, of course, the mute is back in a natural.
There's the GG from Apocalypse. Nestea takes game number 1, of course, a game that started out with... you know, that roach pressure, that's a little strange. Apocalypse trying to get that counterattack with the Hellions going, but then going straight into mutas. And Apocalypse was unprepared for that. And I feel like if you're playing Nestea, you always got to be watchful for those mutas.
You do. I mean, it's Nestea's unit, right? And I mean, what's really cool is he continues to upgrade him throughout the game. And they were so effective. It means they don't die as fast, they don't kill as fast. And here's where Apocalypse almost made the comeback, because the base layout, the Zerg didn't know where to send guys. The Banings got stuck between buildings, mowed down as fast as they could really come in there and get damage done. And just the Marine, that quantity of Marines, there's nothing else to tank for the Banings. The Banings actually don't even get close. They die before they can get into range. But what really happened is he didn't have enough medevacs, and so when he pushed across the map, his units were in a deep red. And all it took was like one Zergling Claw, one Baning hit would kill so many of those Marines.
Yeah, and at that point, you have to be phenomenal with your micro. I like how he was scanning during all that, making sure there weren't any broad Banelings. It's like really important, a really cool play there from Apocalypse. So Apocalypse showing some signs of awesomeness, showing he could potentially go toe-to-toe with Nestea, but Nestea is up 1-0 in this best-of-3. Again, this match decides who's going to be the first person from this group to advance to the round of 16 into WCS Premier League Season 1, again, from the round of 32. Guys, stay tuned. We got Game 2 between Nestea and Apocalypse coming up.